What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragon. It's that time of the week again. Our once-a-week update for Rugby 25. Delayed by a day this week. They were meant to be releasing it yesterday, but Big Ant themselves caught an issue before releasing it and delayed it by one day, which, you know what? Good. I'm glad it's not me finding these things. I'm glad the team over at Big Ant was actually able to catch things early and go, don't release it, don't get it out yet, hold it back a day, let it be fixed and get it out. A big update today, which is nice. Actually, quite a lot of things look like they've been, I was going to say fixed, targeted in the update. Let's call it that for now till we play it, and we'll see how it looks. As usual, timestamps in the description and in the timeline of the video. If there's any particular area you guys want to jump into, we'll start out with the patch notes for today. A lot going on, which I'm glad to be seeing. There's actually a few more things than just like fixed kicking stability. You know, that's nice to be able to see. So, starting out at the top, added play as a team option. Added ability to play as a single team in competition mode, other matches, and simulator. Now, this was something people had flagged, like if you went into one of the random competitions and you said, oh, I want to start a new competition, you could play as as basically every team in every game, and you just decided before each match you wanted to, or you simulated. And a few people will say, I just want to play as Ireland. I just want to play as England through the Six Nations and just have it run that way. So they've now added a play as a team option, and you can just select the Wales. Why is the Wales logo like on like a red star? Something's got a little bit wrong there. No other team has that. But like now you pick a team, you go in, and now you are locked to playing as that one team, and you can't do the other ones. You have to simulate the matches, which you could do anyway, really, right? You could just play the one game as your team and press simulate for the others. It seems to basically be that anyway, is what it is. I don't think that's an enormous change, but a few people were mentioning it, so it's nice they've heard that feedback, they've added it there, and I think that's a nice little change. Added call for the mark button. New button added for call mark when appropriate. They haven't said what that button is. I did actually see this in the last update, after doing a bit more, playing after I did the video and what have you, did actually see the AI caller mark. It wasn't very good. It was pretty broken. The guy basically caught the ball. We played on for about 5 seconds, and the game like reloaded and took us back there. There was no referee animation. There was no whistle blown. There was nothing to say a mark was called. And then they had the kick. They kicked it into touch, but then they had the line up from where they kicked it from. It was like, looked like a mark had been called, but nothing about it was right. And I did message J&T about that one and be like, have I seen some building blocks here? So it looks like they've now actually got the mark in. Don't know if we're even going to be able to test that because the AI don't kick the ball, as far as I'm aware currently. So I'll kick the ball to them and they'll call it. I might have to try and kick the ball and then swap teams and see if I can call a mark on my own kick. Maybe we'll try that. Next up, improved kicking, adjusted up and under trajectories and general kicking timing windows. Yeah, a lot of people, the kicking last week I was infuriated about because the kicking got completely broken after being in a stage where I was quite enjoying the kicking. I kind of got used to it. Some people did actually flag very early on in the comment section when last week's video went out, that they said they actually thought it wasn't that kicking had got broken, it was a mechanics shift. And when you take it on the lens of that, I went back and played more and was like, are they actually right? Is this a change? If so, this change is terrible. It was my opinion. Some people really enjoyed it. I thought it was terrible. Again, reached out to the guys over at Big Ant and got back and it was like, yeah, it's not a new mechanic. It's just broken. We'll fix it. So hopefully that time winner's going to be good. Looking forward to see the up and under trajectories because at the minute they're a little bit janky, that you kick really, really high and it sometimes goes too long. You can't really get on the end of it, and your guy also just stands stationary and everyone sort of stops. So we'll see about that today. Balance ruck turnovers, adjusted ruck steals and pushover rates. They still don't have any real logic behind them for me, but we'll see it today. Balance the dive try distance, reduced effective dive for try distance. Yeah, this was something that happened in last week's video for me, was the AI diving from beyond the 5 meter line and sliding their way over to score a try, and there was nothing I could do about it. There's no animation built in to be able to stop a player that's already sliding for the try line. Now, you can't dive on them, you can't try and dive in the way, you can't try and dislodge the ball. For me, a basis of any really good rugby game is you should, if playing perfectly, you should be able to defend your own 5 meter line for multiple phases as the lower rated team. The game should have the functionality for you to be able to do that, and the defense options should be there, but you are required to play very, very well. At this point, Rugby 25 doesn't feel like that. It is more about attack than it is about defense, and you just score tries for fun. They can score tries a bit more now with the new sort of running animations. So we'll see that again today. Hopefully, I might even try some longer range dives and see if we just boot it into the dead ball area. We'll have a test of it today. Balanced run down tackles, adjusted line break chase tackle range and success rate. Now they haven't said if that means they've reduced the range or increased the range. Can you get an easier tackle now? Is it harder to get a tackle? They haven't actually said what that means. We'll have to try and let them have some line breaks today. I think what we'll do is I'll play as the higher rated team. We'll test some of the other stuff first, and then I might swap teams and then be the lower-rated team and let them have some line breaks. We can do that afterwards. Corrected offside calls, corrected incorrect offside calls, and added offside advantage. Offsides have been fixed like 3 times, I think, by now, and they still aren't working properly, so we'll see about that today. Corrected the kicking foot. Resolved kick to touch incorrect footedness in some player animation. Basically 100% animation. You know, some players are 100%. I actually played a game with Tonga where the fly half is left-footed, and they take conversions with their left foot, and they would kick the touch with their right foot. It was 100% wrong. It's not some, it's all of them. We know it's all of them, right? And then, of course, improved stability. Who doesn't love improved stability? So let's jump over to a play now match. Like I said, I want to be the higher rated team. I feel like I've done a lot of higher rated. Should we do? I don't feel like I've played as New Zealand. I'll play as New Zealand. We want them to be a slightly lower rated team so that we can test a few of the things. But that Wales logo is very weird. But also, you know, I want to be able to swap to them. I don't know what we're rated. Should we do Japan? New Zealand, Japan? That could be a fun game. Hey, why not? It's a 5-minute halves, hardest difficulty, yada, yada, yada. So much stuff to check out. We've already checked out the team play option. So we're calling for the mark. We're going to be doing a lot of kicking. So we'll test out the kicking, the ruck turnovers, see if we can get a few ruck turnovers. We'll test the try distance as well. And then we'll try and make some line breaks ourselves and see if the AI can catch us. And then maybe second half, I'll swap to being Japan and see if when they make a line break, I can actually get on the end and stop them and see what it means. Oh, this looks like a slightly different run-on animation. I don't feel like I see that camera angle really far behind the players. You see their backs. I feel like I haven't seen that before. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. Right, I actually have no idea what camera I'm playing on. I'm going to play on side camera today. End camera was annoying me last week. And but yeah, if people wanted to see it, I do much prefer the side camera. We are on side camera. Here we go. Right, lands in the hands of Cody Taylor. They've still not fixed the name bits at the bottom, which is a shame. Right, let's drop someone into the pocket. Looks like for some reason Rieko Ioane's stepping up. Kicking still looking a bit janky. Woo! And a teleport. And, oh, there was some interesting stuff there. I know I'm not going to do the pause. I'm going to really try not to do the pausing today. I'm so sorry I pause so much when I do these videos. But interesting, a few tackles in this one. So first of all, yeah, okay. Weird teleport here. So and someone's an issue. Still had an issue with my kick. Did that little bar thing, which they said they've like fixed. But interestingly, as the higher rated team, actually missing a few tackles. I feel like probably should have made that one. That feels like it wasn't very good, but that was a good tackle there. Rieko Ioane. Oh, that actually was a handoff. I didn't see the handoff animation. Sorry. I thought it was that they had slipped off of 2 tackles, and I was like, oh, maybe they're going to dull down the handoffs a bit, and actually it's more going to be like animations are going to be different, that players are just sort of getting their way through tackles and what have you. I think that would be nicer than always just seeing the handoff. Right, they made the line break. They got the handoff, and we've managed to get the ball back. Let's go for a... Oh, I was going to go for a kick myself. I don't know if they have fixed this kicking. Oh, the circle also now stays around the ball. Whoa. It's a line break here. We've got an offside advantage for something. We've had a few issues to begin with. We've had a quick line outs, teleporting players, bouncing balls. Right, line break. Can they get on the end of me? Well, they have fixed the range try issue. So I pressed try about here, and actually thought to myself, oh, I should have done it from further back. He didn't score a try. I then pressed it again about here. he didn't score a try. I pressed it again here, and he didn't score a try, and we ran into the dead ball area. So they fixed the distance. I can't put the ball down for some reason on that one, so that was certainly interesting. Right, let's get a little bit closer here. Oh, that was an interesting pass. Right, let's just make a little bit of a line break here with Scott Barrett. Good tackle. Right, we'll go for let's see if they can call the mark nicely. So we'll drop this one back in the pocket. We'll do an up and under. I do think out of rugby games as they go, the kicking power bar and the way trajectories work, I do think it's my least favourite of basically any rugby game. The circle on the ground, but the power bar at your feet feels really hard to to sort of gauge in between where you're meant to be looking at. Rico Ioane here running out of stamina. Let me oh, actually I want to be outside. Drops one back in the pocket. Up and under. No one on it. Did the AI call the mark? No? Oh, that would have been like a perfect opportunity there for the AI to call them a mark, but they didn't want to. Okay. Right, let's try and get a little cheeky 50-22 on the go. Yeah, I don't like this kicking at all. I really dislike it. I don't think they've even fixed it. I don't think anything is improved kicking. General kick timing windows. I think it sucks. I did reach out to oh, they made a little line break. Yes, nice. Decent tackle. Looks like we got on the end of that one. I did reach out to them and say and just ask, is it a new game mechanic, or is it just that kicking is broken? And they said no, kicking is just broken. And it'll be fixed. This looks to be very, very similar with the way the kicking works, in that the circle kind of comes back to you with power, and you can't hold down power for too long, but that means that you end up with these international fly halves that don't kick the ball very far, which just looks visually very weird on screen. We're still 0-0. We've still not been able to score because we weren't able to put the ball down. Oh, we've stolen it back. Hang on, boys. Let me just try and get on through here. Right, Sarah Reese on the charge, boy. Right, it's going to kick. Again, what was going on with that kick? That's so weird. He literally stopped running. I held down kick as I was running it at full flight. He then stopped running. Then got tackled and kicked the... Man, there's a few issues on the go here. Oh, nobody can pick up the ball still. Pick it up! The amount of times in this game I've actually screamed pick it. Oh my god. Oh, offside. Who was offside? Me! I was offside. Corrected offside calls. We'll investigate. Don't worry, big ads. We're on the case. Offside calls have now been fixed. Let's have a look. So let's see what's happened. So here comes the tackle. Tackle comes in. Geordie Barrett there makes the tackle. We ruck over the top. He plays the ball into 11 because 11's in the way. Mark Talea. Oh, hang on. Geordie Barrett. So Geordie Barrett made that tackle. So Geordie Barrett is offside here. He hasn't got back onside. Number 9 then plays the ball into 11. And then, as an automatic thing, Geordie Barrett, I don't think he's ever got back behind that back foot, then dives through the players and scoops it up, therefore giving an offside penalty. Now that, rule-wise, is correct, but in terms of a video game, as me as the player, I can't do anything about that. The AI has decided it's going to grab Geordie Barrett and send him through 12 people in order to be able to get there and therefore pick up the ball offside. Yeah, rule is correct, but why is my player doing that? I made the tackle. I'm not that guy. Why is he picking up the ball? Why do I even have that option? Let's try and get it. Let's see if we can go for another mark. I really want to see them actually call a mark. Right, big high up and under. Loads of time. Right. Oh, I didn't even... So, okay, so the mark has been called. There was actually a word by the scoreboard that said mark, so you know what's going on, which is good. You know, you need to be having those things on screen. But like the referee didn't blow his whistle to say, or shout mark, or mark called or whistle gone, so that you know why it is. Oh, just missed the tackle there. Interesting. Severis will go over for a try. Don't know what happened to this guy. He very clearly should have tackled me, right? Literally chest bumped me and then said no. Okay. Well, you know what? Why not? So the ball came in. Did he do like the hand action to call the mark? Oh, he actually did. Okay, that's good. And then got on with it very quick. Okay, so we've now got the hand action to say a mark has been called, which is nice. I'm glad that is struck a pose. I mean, your mark is meant to be a closed fist, right? Is the call as far as I'm aware. That is more a point. You would probably say, but it's nearly a closed fist. So it's pretty there. I actually maybe one of you guys can correct me as to whether or not you can get away with that. So yeah, so it's just they're still missing the whistle. They're still missing. It would be nice to even have like the players. You could hear the players shout mark, because if you remember through the early access how much we were getting all annoyed by hearing like pass it once, pass it again, and we had all the players calling for on the ground. They still haven't fixed mauls with the. Oh, that's not the right pass. This is my bad. I chose a really poor pass there. But I'd like to be able to hear the players call mark when they're calling for the mark and stuff. And maybe a referee should really be blowing his whistle to symbolise that a mark has been called. That's not who I wanted at all. Let's go for another. I don't think those kicks are fixed. I think those kicks are rubbish. That's. I'm only going to give honest opinions of these videos. These kicks are awful. The way they stand currently with this power bar. Some people said they liked them. With the power bar bringing it down, and it's like you getting punished. It's so weird. He did get in first, which is fair enough, but I still think it looks so weird to have 3 New Zealanders versus 1. Sort of a player coming in and then being able to blow the 3 players out of the way. It just feels a little bit weird to me. There you go. For another line break, let's see if we can get on the end of it. Alright, on Twitter. I still feel like the game has a bit of a bias for if you're not the ball carrier. It feels like the ball carrier's fitness drops much quicker than players without the ball, which may be just, from a quality of life thing, to be able for you to chase down the player feels better. I don't feel like they've made those breaks like we had in last week's video where, they cut back inside, and I was like, oh man, I'm getting done here. I'm getting made to look like a fool. But they're not really doing that today with the new, with that circle that sort of jutters and goes backwards. I think that to me feels the worst kicking I've experienced in a rugby game, because it feels so odd to be like, why can I not kick this with full power? And I can understand the element of, oh, well, maybe you're under pressure, and therefore if you kick it too hard, you can slice the ball. And that's not the worst thing on paper, but it's got to be implemented right, and it feels very odd that suddenly Bowden Barrett can only kick the ball 10 meters because I held down power too much. It's like, you think, well, these guys do have good kicking potential. Let's try and end this half, because this is getting a little bit endless now. We'll try and end this first half. We've had an injury, by the way, for quite a while. The AI hasn't subbed off this injured player. Wasn't that a fix they did like 20 updates ago? Where they said that AI will now, sub on for injured players, and that just hasn't occurred. Should we test drop goals as well? Drop goals are something that I do think still look a little bit weird to me. Just in the way they... Does anyone else feel like the drop goals go a bit too high too quickly? As opposed to, like, kicking the ball and it going on, like, a 45-degree sort of trajectory towards the post. Where if I'm taking a drop goal... I've taken plenty of drop goals in my time. And I just don't feel like you kick the ball and it almost goes beyond their head height before it leaves, like, the range of, like, their leg. It feels like it goes very, very high and gains this really high arc. Whereas I feel like if you were going for a drop goal, distance is almost more the thing you want to try and land if I was going for a drop goal. I don't know. I feel like they could maybe work on that trajectory for the drop goals and just just rather than it be this sort of really high arc like that, just mitigate it down to be a little bit more like that, and you sort of arc over rather than it be this really high up and under. Right, let's get on to the second half. We've tested a couple things out. I'm going to swap. No, I'm not. I'm gonna have a little bit of a faff about here. Hang on, bear with me. So let me kick this to them. They'll kick it back into touch because the AI for some reason loves doing it. I do like that they've changed this circle now where it sort of showcases where the ball is going to land. The circle's kind of smallering, getting smaller on the field. I think that's actually quite nice to sort of show where it's going to go. I still feel like the kicking trajectories just feel very weird in this game. Now, I want to try and do I'm going to try and go for a mark with Japan by swapping teams. That's my plan. So I need you to please let me through. Nice little sidestep there by Mark. It's hilarious. That actually looked nice, but I feel like it was more that I actually just ran through the middle and didn't actually pull off a sidestep there at all. Let me just run on a little bit further. Oh, they got in again. Again, it's the weird thing. The turnovers, you want the turnovers to be, better, which is fine, but there still doesn't seem to have the logic for me as to why the turnovers work the way they do. Right, draw it back. Right, okay. Now we swap over to Japan. And then we're going to try and see what it says to call the mark. Nothing came up on screen to showcase mark. It did the... I can't show it on the replay, can I? It did the circle thing around my player to sort of show... Like, you could compete for the ball in the air, which, again, is another element in this game, which I personally don't like. I do find it very weird that they just have this big red circle, and it doesn't really mean anything. As opposed to, a QTE on screen or something small for you to be able to... Right, let me go for a box kick. Box kick seems to work fine. I actually lost my circle in this one. It's gone so far. That's a hell of a kick. Yeah, I still don't think they've nailed the speed of players in this game, especially for the lower rated teams. Oh. Oh. Game. Stability. Stability was improved. Don't do this to me. Oh man, it is. All right, no, there we go. That was just a really big tackle. Maybe. Oh, we've nearly killed Bowden Barrett. Right, we can't exit. Yeah, I still think that the speed on the lower rated team still feels a little bit weird. Like I cannot outrun any of these New Zealand players, which fair enough if it's a like for like number, but I'm still expecting a Matsushima to be able to outrun a Scott Barrett or something. It should still be happening. It shouldn't really matter that you're the lower rated team at that point. It should be a little bit more around stats. It still feels very, very hard to make any sort of break here. Let's right, here we go. We're away. We're making a break. This guy has unlimited stamina for some reason, but fair enough. Why not? Right, let's should we try it? We could go for another mark here actually. Should we try it? Should we try the mark again? And see if I can get this to work. Right, that's a nice high one. Okay. Bowden Barrett's got another neck injury. Let me go back over here. Right. Here it comes. Okay. And then if I just do a tap and go, can I just like break away? It's okay. It's okay. So the up and under. So the mark call is it's still that stupid red circle around it. I hate it. The graphic on screen looks awful. And it's also really hard to know what you're meant to do. It just flares up red and I just hold X. And I don't know when I'm meant to press something. If I'm waiting for an arrow to do something, I don't know what it means, and the graphic looks awful. And it has done. Since early access, it looks terrible. But that's what it is. So you call the mark now, that little red ring appears on your player. All I did was hold down X. I didn't know a timing, I just held down X. My guy caught the ball, no whistle to say mark was called, or no shout for mark, and it then gives you those two options. You can either do the tap and go, or you can do the dropout kick. I tried to do the tap and go then just to see if I could snake through Japan a little bit ready for me. It would be nice on those tap and goes if it happens that quickly. I wish that happened with penalties. I would like to see that happen with penalties as well, where if you get awarded a penalty, rather than it needing to be a whole cutscene of the ref always telling the player off, if you would have those options pop up on screen really quickly and you could select tap and go and just tap and run, and it wouldn't break the game up live. I like how that's implemented into the game as those options, and I'm assuming if you press kick to touch, I assume it would reload the game to allow you to kick to touch. I assume. Actually, I don't know. Maybe we could try and test that one. Can I also just say, I love this. I didn't realize. I just wanted to go back and look at it. But because they have to raise their arm, they catch the ball in one arm. And Will Jordan looks like a salmon out of water. Because he's waiting to raise his arm. I love that. I hope they never change that. That looks hysterical to me. But yeah, the player has to call the mark and he literally lands. In fact, I feel like, I'm trying to think of actual rules around the mark. I feel like you're not allowed to call the mark. Don't you have to catch the ball and have both feet planted? I actually don't feel like you can call the mark like this with just one leg down, but you know, it's coming. It's slowly being added into the game. Let's give it. Let's go. I've had a lot of fun today. It's not always for the right reasons, but at least I've been able to laugh about some stuff. It's been fun. I feel like we've tested quite a few things. I'm gonna just hold as New Zealand. Well, no, I'm not. I want to test this try distance thing again. Charging on, good cover tackle. I feel like the AI's done some nice cover tackles today. I feel like. Still got a weird thing where the AI is able to do that 3v1 turnover. I played as Japan for a little bit then, and I couldn't get a turnover. Then I've swapped over to the other side, and for some reason, Japan are just able to just take it almost, where we've played 2 phases, and they've taken the ball off me. I'm now back as New Zealand, and I can't get the ball back, which just makes me think there's something else at play. There's some other... oh, well... Imagine if I had a fullback who could have got on the end. So we won't be able to test that out as well. Let me just test the offside thing as well. I mean, we had that one with Geordie Barrett in that last game. Let me just kick this one over. That's an absolutely thunderous kick. What? I really dislike this new kick. Why? It just seems so weird to me. Why am I able there with... I can't think of his name now. The French center. I wish I had his name on screen. That would be good, Big Ant, if we could have names on screen. Why can I, as the French center, absolutely hammer that ball? Right, that's an offside. Hang on. Let me see if I can swap over. Yes. Oh, they already selected the kicker. I was going to try and test to see whether if I can make the... It's very hard to force the penalties to go over and have the right-footed kicking. It looks like if you try and swap after that's given, they've already made that decision. So they'll just take that and they'll go for 3. But why is it so weird that you've got the French? It wasn't even Malvaca. I don't even know who it was. I don't think it was. But able to just hammer that ball 50 meters down the field, whereas as Bowden Barrett, I couldn't make 15 meters because I held power too long under no pressure, not charged down. Those things just all feel a little bit weird to me. Long range. Okay, so they've reduced. So what I did there, so which they've maybe balanced this quite nicely. We'll just show this quickly on a replay because this is how the try scoring now is. So I started tapping A here. And he waited right up to that final meter. Oh, yep, okay, let's do the kick. Yeah, great, awesome. Which is nice. So I was tapping A for a try, right? I'm desperately trying to score a try. And I started about here. And I went tap, 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 tap. And about there. So we've gone from beyond 5 meters out. They've reduced it to maybe 2 meters out you can score now. That's much better. That they've cut that down so much. And also, you don't kick the ball, which is another fear. If you reduce how far they can score a try from, if I press A here, is Greg Aldrich, they're going to boot that into the dead ball area? No, they actually don't kick it. It seems like you lose kicking functionality, and you will go over to score tries. So I feel like they've measured that a bit nicer. I still think it would be nice if there is some sort of tackle animation where if a player is like that you can make a tackle, and because he's got the ball in one hand, if you make the tackle on him, there's an increased chance of him dropping the ball as he goes over the line, and that way you as a player would have to make the decision, is it worth diving early, or should I run over the try line and just dot it down. And it's a safer try rather than do the dive for the try line and the ball could get knocked out of my hand. I would like that to be as maybe a bit of a, a 50-50 shake-up for the game. But yeah, a few other things tested out there. Let's go on to some thoughts and feedback because this video is already long enough. Right, let's put the patch notes back up on screen and have a bit of a run through them. So, added the play as team option, added the ability to play as a single player team as through the competition mode. I think that's a nice addition. Realistically, anyone could have done this anyway, right? You could just play as your one team and simulate all the other games. It's not that big a deal. It's nice they've added that functionality in. They've listened to the feedback on the FAQ page, and they've gone, people just want the ability just to play as that team. It still says down the bottom you need to simulate the game. If I simulate my game... No, it does play the other game. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. It just dawned on me. Do you still have to press simulate? Because otherwise that's pointless. No, so if you finish your game, we drew against France as Wales. That doesn't happen anymore. But, you know, the other games play on their own. You don't need to press simulate. And therefore, they play on their own. I like that. I think that's a nice addition. I'm not pressing simulate at all. I'm just pressing the X for simulate my game. And it does all the things. Might be nice if it showed you the scores and then you manually moved on, but you know, as is what it is. Italy won by 4. That sounds more right. So that's I think that's a nice addition. They've listened to the feedback and they've added something in to try and accommodate it. I think that's nice. Added the call for mark button. A new button added to... Now, I disagree with that wording. Added a button for call the mark. There's no button. You just hold an X because it's the same as every other catch. Like the catch in the call of the mark has been added. Do wish you would have a whistle blown. Do wish that somebody would shout out loud mark. Like you'd hear the player call mark. I wish maybe the referee would say mark. It's nice that it pops up on screen in the top right. I do wish those graphics were a bit bigger. The word mark is in like size 8 font. You have to really look over to see, what the penalty was for or what's going on. I do wish they would change that graphic on screen for kicking, though, where you're contesting the kick. That massive, giant red circle is still one of the worst-looking graphics, I think, in this game. It's so immediately in your face on screen. I feel like that could be taken back like 9 notches and almost have it as... You could get rid of it. I mean, Rugby 2011 didn't even have that, right? You just held down the button at the correct timing, and the players manually leapt into the air, and it was down to you to get your timing correct. You know, I feel like you could just do away with the graphic entirely and just let players jump. Or if you're going to keep a graphic on screen, I feel like it could be really minimalistic. You know, add a little thing, add a little contestable bar that's maybe or a little QTE on screen. Bang, get in there, and both players jump for it, and you've got to try and do the QTE quickly in time. I think though, I feel like it could be much less intrusive than that giant red circle around the players. Improved kicking, adjusted up and under trajectories and general kick timing windows. The kicking is still awful. Honestly, there's no other way to describe. I really dislike the change. They've said to me. It isn't a change. It is just broken. That's what I heard from the guys over here. It's not a change. It just broke in the last update where the circle like came back at you. They've said now they've fixed the timing windows, but it's still the same. You can't just hold down kick, which, again, on paper, I think it sounds fine. Oh, you used too much power, you sliced the kick and it went wrong. I understand the logic and why if you wrote that down on paper, that would sound fun. But in a game setting, it feels so hard to... You don't have a lot of time on the ball anyway from how fast the AI is off the line. You get sort of rushed. If they get too close to you, the kicks mess up anyway because it's like they've been charged down even though they haven't. You don't have a lot of time to gauge those kicks. The kicking trajectory isn't an obvious line coming from your foot anymore. It's a circle on the pitch, which means you've got to hold down the kick button and look at where the circle is going. So your eyes are already over here, but the kick power bar is at your player's feet. So you're following the circle, but you've got to look over here to see what the power's doing. So you don't know I don't know how to look at 2 places at once as to gauge that. And most of the time it will go, move and move. I'm trying to get this to where I want the circle to go. Gets to over here. Oh, look, the power bar's got to... I'm trying to position this. Meanwhile, the power bar's broken over here, and then it starts going back at me, and I just let go of A, because I'm like, oh, I'm going to lose all these meters. I think it feels terrible to me. As an honest opinion, I think it's the worst kicking mechanics of any rugby game I've ever played as it stands right now. Go back about 3 updates ago, I was loving the kicking. I could just mess around. I was doing kicking. It felt way more free-flowing. I could do little chip kicks over the top. I was having a bit of a laugh with it. Up and unders needed a bit of work. Drop goal trajectories needed a bit of work. But the general kicking around the park, I thought felt good. I think this is much worse, in my opinion. But adjusted the up and under trajectories. The up and unders felt more realistic. It felt like you could get away with a lot less power and get some really good height. Still had some issues around kicking and players stopping and jarring and balls teleporting and issues going on and all going a little bit weird. The ability to get on the end of the ball is still a little bit questionable as to whether you can actually get a guy on the end of the ball, but on the couple where I was trying to call the mark on myself, the AI did get a player to me but wasn't able to take the ball, and I called the mark, and you go, okay, I see how that works. You can get on the end of it. So I think that the trajectory thing has been improved. Still would like to see drop goal trajectories angled down a little bit, an arc a little bit more, rather than be this really high kick. But the general kicking window timings, I would, in my opinion, I'm happy for you guys to disagree with me. Scrap it all. Go back to how kicking was 3 updates ago. Felt way better from general around the park. Balance the ruck turnovers and pushovers. It still feels like I am missing a skill. I don't know what I'm missing. The AI seems to know what I'm missing. I'm playing as New Zealand. Felt like I had good control of that. Played as Japan. Did get some turnovers. Felt nice. But there was one point in like the 70th minute of that game, I swapped to playing as Japan. Could not get a turnover at all. The ball was kicked downfield. I swapped back over to New Zealand, trying to score the tries. And then 2 phases later, Japan get a turnover on me. It just feels like the AI knows something I don't. I don't know if there's specific buttons I'm pressing. They can do 1 versus 3 at the ruck and turn me over consistently. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm missing. The game doesn't tell me what's wrong. It just doesn't work. And so I still think it needs to be more clear as to why rucks are the way they are. But it did feel a little bit more like I could get turnovers at least as Japan in this game against New Zealand. Balance the dive try distance. Yes, I think that's a tick. I really like that they fixed that, because it did feel a bit weird. Like I said in the video, I do wish they would add an animation to be able to tackle someone diving for the line that might have an increased chance of dislodging the ball and giving a knock on. Therefore, it makes the player weigh up the option of, do I just go for the dive, or do I run over the try line and put it down nicely and get a definite try, or do I go for the sort of showboaty diving try? But I like that it's reduced from 5 meters to 2 meters. Feels more realistic. Feels like I have more of a chance now to be able to stop the AI on a 5-meter scrum or something like that. Feels like you've got a better opportunity to be able to defend. Probably better for multiplayer as well. Balanced rundown tackles, adjusted line break, chase tackle range, and success rate. I certainly felt like the AI was doing some good cover tackles on line breaks. Felt like I was able to get some good cover tackles in there as well. Didn't feel like the AI was being quite as harsh with the slalom turns that we had from the South Africa game last week, where Billy LaRue just did me on the inside completely and made me look like a chump. It's not quite as harsh as that anymore, which is nice. I don't necessarily mind it. It was just, is it possible to get the cover tackles? There were issues that I had in other updates where if you played as the lower rated team, all your tackles would drop off a player. You'd always tackle around the shoulders and you'd fall off. I feel like that has been improved. Still feels like the players without the ball hold their stamina much better than players with the ball for some reason, apart from that one time with my Japan winger where he ran forever. He had unlimited stamina. I don't know what happened to him, but he was absolutely fine. Corrected the offside call. The offside call that we had with the Geordie Barrett one was correct. It was a correct ruling, but still need to look into why is it this player I'm not playing as, who's just an AI on my team, has never got back on side, is able to dive through 12 players and beat me to a loose ball. Nothing I can control that as a player, nothing I can do. My team has given away a penalty there, which they couldn't ever do in real life. So tweaking needs to be done there, but we did test the offside kick as well. The offside was called correctly as well. Correct kicking foot, I don't know. Let me know in the comment section if you've been able to test that one. We haven't been able to generate a penalty there where I was able to kick to touch to test that one. It will become very apparent if that is fixed or not fixed. You can read the FAQ page as well to see if other people. And then improved stability. No crashes today. Did have that one section where we had tremendous frame rate drops for no reason, and I had to literally just let go of any buttons and let the game catch up with me. Not entirely sure what that was about, but that stability always something they're trying to work on. There we go, guys. That's my thoughts on this one. Big update today. Big old videos. Thank you for sticking around if you made it to the end of the video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section if you played it yourselves or if you've just been watching the video and getting your own opinions from seeing me play it on screen today. Always enjoy having a read through the comment section, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.